Hello, this is Scott. So my intention is I'm going to create a few short videos on Statistica, network analytics, and creating and explaining, creating and exploring network. So this is going to be part one, and I mean to keep these fairly short, so about 10 minutes apiece. So within Statistica, if you go to Network Analytics, you should pull up a pane that looks like this, and then the login by default is root, and the password is 123. So if I sign in, this is the splash that I get, and there's several things that I can do, but what we're going to do first is we're going to create a new network. So under network creation, if I'm going to select plain text and edge list, and then I'm going to choose a file, and I'm going to choose this restaurant influencers.csv. The column names are on the first line. It is, comma delimited, and I'll add that. And then once I have that, then I'll do save and next. Now, where did that file come from? Actually, you can copy it from the examples in Statistica. So if you go to in Statistica itself, if you go to data sets and CSV, you will see it right here, restaurantinfluencers.csv. I just dropped a copy in that other folder and then went directly there. Let me just show you what that data is going to look like. So this is the CSV that we just loaded. This is customer, view 1060, etc. So each customer can have multiple rows. The restaurant ID that they're affiliated with, the restaurant name associated with that ID, what the cuisine type is, the rating, it will be a numeric. The count of ratings will be the total of ratings that this customer has given to various restaurants, and whether this customer is considered an influencer or not. Those are the columns that we just loaded. All right. So again, I just said save, and it automatically, I was in the data source. It's going to take me to this actor classes here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this first column, and we'll make it a customer, and we'll put a string, and we'll add that. The second column, I'm going to get this restaurant ID, and I'm just going to change the name, the actor class name here to restaurant. And then I will, well, why does it not like that? No, it doesn't like it because I didn't identify what it is. So restaurant ID is going to be a string as well. Now it turned, so I get to add that. So here are the two actor classes that I've defined for this network, and that's going to be it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set properties. So under this customer property here, what I'm going to say is that this is going to be an influencer, and the data type for influencer is string, and I'm going to add that. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to do the properties for the restaurant itself, and then the restaurant itself, there are going to be three properties that we're going to add. The first property is going to be the restaurant name, and that's going to be string, add. Then I'm going to say the cuisine type, and that's going to be string as well, add. And then the third type will be count of ratings. This is not string, this is actually integer, and I'm going to add that, and then I'll click OK. And now I've got my actor classes set up. And so I'm ready to move on to the next section. I could actually click here, or I can just say save and next. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define the relationship classes. And for this, I'm going to leave this relationship directed. I'm going to leave that unchecked. And then I'm going to say customer and the relationship class name. I'm going to type this in, and I'm going to say eats at, and then the after class 2, it would be restaurant. Okay. And then once I have that, I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to go into the properties tab. So there are going to be 2 properties. I'm sorry, 1 property. I think it's 1 property rating, and that's going to be integer, and I'm going to add that property down, and that should be good. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to define my network. So then from there, I'll click next, and that takes me to the network, and this is where I can define my network name. This is by default checked. New network is a remote one. We don't want that. And since I already have something called restaurant influencers, it's actually included in Statistica. I'm just going to make this restaurant underscore INFL for restaurant influencers. And then I'll click finish. And that's going to run for a minute. I mean, it's going to create the network, and then I'll have this available for editing the next time that I come in. I'll be able to open it from this panel over here on the left. Before we finish up on this network, let's make it a little prettier. We'll see here in just a second that it's pretty generic. We'll add a little flavor to it, and then we'll quit this video and move on. All right, so now I've got my network based upon my data. I've got some generic looking boxes and everything, the weights of the relationships. I want to change all that. How do I do that? Up here underneath this graph, I click this little cog, and let me change the length. Let me make that a little longer, 75, and then this to 0.2. All right, and then so that's under the general options, and you can change all these depending on what you want. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, for each class option, I'm going to add a little bit of, well, something that's kind of cool here. Let me delete this and this. I'm going to go into this actor class, and let me look at customer, and I'm going to create an icon based on an image that's present within the platform. So I'm looking for something that is along the lines of a customer, and I'm going to select this image right here for a customer. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to change the color, something more along the lines of blue. So I'll click that. And then the label will be customer. All right. And then I'm going to add that. And then the second one I'm going to do is I am going to do restaurant. And this time for the icon image, I'm going to select this fork and spoon. And I'll click OK. And then the color, Actually, that doesn't look bad. Hang on. That's fine. I'll leave that color the way it is, and then the restaurant will be the actual restaurant name here. Okay. All right. I think that looks good. And then the last tab is each relationship. So this relationship class, remember we created this, and the label that's going to be associated with that will be the rating. So I'm going to add that, and so we get that, and then I save. Whoops. Hang on. Why is it not liking that? Oh, I think it doesn't like it because I've already got it. So anyway, when you finish, it should look like that. Again, drop down eats at, and then the label is the drop down rating, and then golly, man, why? Oh, this didn't save this for some reason. 75.2, save. Class options, active class, customer. Sorry. Then the customer. Did I just see it? Yeah. Right there. Just like that. Okay. Customer. Add. Yeah. Color. Blue. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if it'll allow me to. Okay. I think that looks right. And then the second one, let me just go ahead and delete this class. And then the second one is restaurant. And the icon will be image. And we'll grab that knife and fork. Click OK. We'll add that. Forgot the label. Restaurant ID. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select save for whatever reason. And then I'm going to click on this again, and then we'll define that relationship class, eats at, and then rating, and add that, and then save. Finally, there we go. So that's how we set things up, and we can see our network here using the wheel on the mouse. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can move over, I can move across, and then individually I can pick individuals, and I can look. I see something that I don't like. I'm not picking up the restaurant name. Let me. Adjust this. Restaurant name, add, save, and there we go. Okay, so now I get the restaurant name as well. And then if I click on an individual actor right here, 10:30, zoom in a little bit. Where was I? It doesn't really matter, but I was up here at 10:30. So if I click on or hover over 10:30, I can see that this person is identified with these 3 restaurants, and we'll explore quite a bit in the coming sessions. But anyway, that's how to set everything up. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.